Are we already on? I was just finishing biting my nails. That's the kind of match it was. Never mind whether it was consequential for either team. India already in the final, Afghanistan with no chance of getting there. But what a cliffhanger we had, and what a tie it's finished in. Fantastic result for both sides in a sense, because, you know, it was one of those cliches. No one really deserved to lose, though Afghanistan sort of tried hard in the end, right at the end. Those little moments that they played throughout the tournament. Let me just catch my breath, remind you again. Yes, it's a tie between India and Afghanistan. A wonderful match to finish before we have the semi-final shootout between Bangladesh and Pakistan. And that's a confirmation there. 252 for 8, playing 252 all out as far as India were concerned in that run chase. There was a time when the rules might have said that the team having lost fewer wickets will be declared the winner, but all that is out of the window. It's a tie. Nails, gentlemen.
Well, you had a go at me for sitting on the fence. I was perfectly right to sit on the fence. Because that was where the game finished. Right on the middle of the fence.
This time we'll give it to you. You can sit right back on your comfortable red fence, Dooley.
Thank you.
I got it wrong, he got it wrong, so that's the one that wins.
That's just perfect prediction.
But what? So many talking points. Where do you start?
Well, I don't know where to start. I'm going to start by trying to get the app back working. 142 when MS Dhoni was given out inexplicably, LBW, and he couldn't review it. So you go back to KL Rahul's use of the review with DK there. It was just hopeless. Stupid use of the review system. But at 142, when MS Dhoni was out, India were in charge. 25 overs had gone, halfway through, and they needed 110. And they found a way to tie it, not lose it. And Afghanistan, towards the end, should have won it and probably found a way to tie it as well. It was, I don't know, where do you want to start talking? It's crazy.
Let's just show you the fall of wickets, because that was critical to India's run chase. Without Rohit Sharma, without Shikhar Dhawan, the openers gave them an excellent start. 110 you can see there. And even when Lokesh Rahul went, it's not just the number, it's the manner of the dismissal. It's the shot that he played, the choice of shot, and then the choice of review, which you don't just blame him, you blame Dinesh Karthik at the non-striker's end, because he sort of goaded him to take it. And I can tell you, Simon Doull, we were sitting there and he mentioned, can you imagine if MS Dhoni walks out at number 4 and gets a howler, they're going to regret it. Guess what happens? MS Dhoni walked out at number 4, got a howler, and not only that, Dinesh Karthik moments later got another howler. So it was kind of karma that came back to bite him. So you've got to think of that as a key moment from India's point of view, that review.
Well, I think in this match there were so many, and review certainly stands out, because more often than not we talk about it, but there is nothing to counter, as I was mentioning in the com box as well, in the 35th over. And the same thing, you have now the perfect example of how it can come back to bite you. And I think that's something which most of the teams have not been taking it seriously. I think that we've just seen so many soft reviews, and I think it just become a norm that if you're a batting team, and the first 3 would probably use that opportunity every time they find that opportunity of using that review. But here in this kind of a match, it was a classic example of why one should give importance to the review, why there should be discussions around how to go about the review, in what kind of situations we'll go for it, in what kind of situation we'll avoid it, because the game is not over. And when the first review was taken, there were about 35 overs left in the game. That's a long time, and that one valuable review you can use at a crucial juncture in the game. That's something which this game showed as well for us.
Now we'll come to Afghanistan's small moments, because if you have to sum up that tournament, they sort of won all the big moments and they lost the small ones. But before that, put yourself in the shoes of Bangladesh and Pakistan watching this game, right? And they're talking about that brittle Indian middle order. Replace Raidu and Rahul today with Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan. Good starts for India. What happens after that? It's not been good for India. And they'll be watching that thinking, whichever of us makes the final, we've got a chink in their armour to exploit.
Yeah, absolutely. They need wickets up front, though. That's the key, because they don't get the wickets up front. And although it took Afghanistan 110 runs before they got the first wicket, they were still able to expose it with a score of 250 on the board. So quality spinners they came into play. But you've got to have runs on the board if you bat first to try and expose that middle order, put them under some pressure. But you've got to take wickets up front. If it's Pakistan, they experimented again with Muhammad Amir in the last game. Did not work. I think he's gone. He's got to go. Ushman has to come back in, and I would expect him to come back in for tomorrow's game so that he's ready to go for the final. And probably see Muhammad Amir out if that was the case. For Bangladesh, same thing. Wickets up front. If you can knock over a couple, put some pressure on, and just make them feel the jitters, especially if you've got runs on the board. I think batting first, India probably feel a little bit more comfortable, and they would be okay with it. I don't know. I know MS Dhoni said tonight he wanted to bowl first.
Yeah.
He was happy to chase, but yeah, I don't know whether that's.
I think that's been the general plan, and they would want to stick to that. They would just want to leave this game behind and talk about Afghanistan, because that's been a certainly emerging team of the tournament, and they've announced themselves in a big way. They certainly need to learn to win matches. You know, that's something which was very evident, and the fact that we are talking about there's going to be soon the discussions and the time is going to come quickly than expected, that they would want someone else to take the reins and take the team to the next level, because right now this team is ready. You know, they're just still figuring out how to win against the top teams, because they've not been in this kind of situation. Now they're getting in these kind of situations consistently in these kind of conditions. So I think, you know, if the conditions favor the spin, then they will always be in the game. It's just that they need a new lookout now, someone to take them to the next level and figure out those new bowling plans as well, because right now with Asghar Afghan, the plan is kind of pretty much set, that, you know, how he's going to use Rashid, how he's going to stack up the overs of all the bowlers. That needs to be just kind of re-looked at.
Yeah, it was almost a formula. I mean, you think back to 50-over cricket from another era, and you say, okay, fine, your best bowlers will bowl you 48 and 50, and that's what was thinking in his mind. He should have been bowling Rashid much earlier. He should have had the 49th over, even at that stage, 47-49. He opted for 48 and 50. He was lucky that he got that wicket at the end to leave Rashid something to bowl. But even then, I think 47-49 should have been in.
Yeah, we talk about it in 2020, we talk about it in 50-over cricket. Don't let it get down to that position where your best bowler may not bowl all his deliveries. So if he bowls the 49th on this occasion, he's guaranteed to bowl every one of his deliveries and then maybe leave 8 or 9 for Aftab in that last over. But at that stage, it was 1 wicket and a tight over in that 47th and 49th. And, you know, you go back to 2020 and the 17th and 19th. They're crucial overs. And he may not have had Rashid bowling all of his deliveries, which would have been criminal. So it's I think I got the feeling they'll stick with him through until the World Cup. But maybe post-World Cup, it's time to just figure things out and move forward a little bit more with someone slightly more adaptable, slightly more aggressive perhaps, and you know, and they'll figure that out themselves. There'll be more and more cricketers coming through now that want to play, because these guys have, you know, they've stepped up. They lost the game against Pakistan through a couple of poor decisions of captaincy in that game as well, I thought, and just a couple of poor options with the ball at different times. So it's just learning. It's all learning. But they have pushed every team now. Every team in this competition has either been pushed or beaten by Afghanistan. So that is a great sign.
And the very fact that we're talking about captaincy and not skills means they've got it right in the skills department. And again, another example, when Khalil was on strike there was not a single fielder anywhere in sight. So they've got the tie, but they could have got the win because you knew Khalil didn't have the skill to clear the field. If he's got people looking around all and maybe a couple of fielders on the outfield, could have been a different outcome there.
Absolutely. I think, you know, there will be so many things which they will be talking about from this game, because there were so many opportunities which could have given them the first ever victory against India, and they were so close. And it was actually after a point their game to lose. It was in India's game to lose when they had that 100-run partnership at the start, and it kind of went that way there where India had lost the game. You know, they will be very happy with the result at the moment, and you could see it from the expressions of all the changing room as well. That, you know, they were hoping that the shot which Jadeja hit was a 6. It was just short of that 6, And after that, you could just see that, that pressure was there, that, oh, is it going to be a loss? And that's when, from the India's point of view, they will be thinking, why Jadeja? Why now? Once you got the team equal the score, then, the safer option would have been the best option. But from Afghanistan's point of view, after about that 38 overs, it was Afghanistan's game to lose.
Yeah, I know we talked about the DRS first up, but you'd have to say, I mean, we don't like pointing fingers at umpiring because they've got a tough job out there, but 2 in a row for Gregory Brathwaite. I mean, I had a lot of chance to interact with him in the CPL. Lovely guy, great fun off the field, very accommodating with anything, any help the media and the broadcast needs, but he'd have to introspect on those 2.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't met too many bad blokes who are umpires. I mean, they're generally quite good characters, and they've got an awful job to do, but he made a couple of poor decisions, and a couple of really poor decisions, and it does happen. We all make mistakes, but I just don't think he was thinking clearly about how much the ball was turning. MS Dhoni's one was clearly missing. We said that, I said that before they'd gone to the review. I said missing the stumps. Then when DK was given out as well, that was probably worse. It pitched around about middle and leg and was turning away down leg. So a couple of poor decisions, but I'll go back to it. KL Rahul, the DRS is there for the howler. MS Dhoni got a howler. Dinesh Karthik got a howler. KL Rahul got a good decision and decided to use it. So as much as I'm happy to say that Gregory Brathwaite made 2 poor decisions, the one poor decision that cost India a win was from Lokesh Rahul.
And by definition, DRS is there to protect the howlers.
Correct.
And it would have protected both in that case.
Correct. It would have protected. MS would have definitely gone for it, and DK would have definitely gone for it. And that's exactly how that's what it's designed for. Gregory Brathwaite's had a bit of a bad moment, all right? And the batsman knows that, and if he can go upstairs, he'll prove that, and Gregory will go, okay, right, it's turning a bit. And the guy in his ear will also say, Greg, I'm sorry. Well, he can see the big screen. I'm sorry, mate, that was turning too much. So just keep an eye on the turn. And he'll go, next time I'll have to think a bit more about that. And that's how umpires get better, and that's how you use the DRS.
Having said that, I think, in Brathwaite's defense, the couple of decisions against the appeals against Jadeja were actually close ones. And when you have such a bad day, you can end up making another mistake.
Yes.
But I think those few decisions,
we got those 2 right.
and one against Chahar as well. That was very close. The one which was missing.
It's a good call because we often tend to pick out the ones that you've got wrong, and maybe 3 or 4 that could have gone the other way. If you've got it right, we don't. So it evens out in the end.
Good points.
I know a batsman doesn't get a second chance and the fielding side does, but still, a good not out is as good as a good out in some cases. But mentally, let me ask both of you, mentally, what does this game do for Team India as a preparation for the final? Forget the fact that the result was a tie, just the performance on the field, -3 key players with that middle order the way it was.
Well, I think the big message is that, once you are in and you are going strongly, you got to be able to have that adaptability of changing gears, I think, which was missing in today's innings, because you started to dominate and you were dominating. But after a certain point, that the game is usually made in the middle overs when Rashid Khan comes in. And you saw the choice of Raidu also. He continued in that gear, what was working for him so far. And once Raidu got out, KL Rahul as well. He just continued in the same kind of fashion, which is very important to kind of adapt to the situation. As the ball gets older, it starts to grip more. So that's just the situational awareness, I think, which was missing, and which is a lesson. So the guys who are in the middle set has to make sure that they're not leaving the job for others. If you're in, you have to make it count, you have to make it big, and not get in a scenario because scenarios can quickly change, which we saw today. Like the only way Afghanistan would have come back in the game was by the fact that India lose wickets, and that's exactly what happened. Yes, that there were a few poor decisions made by the umpire, but also there were some soft dismissals, and that's something which is a concern which they should discuss as a batting unit before the big game on 28th.
And on the assumption, of course, that KL Rahul now makes way for the return, Manish Pandey, make way for the return of Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
Raidu slips back to number 3, and this innings and the manner of the dismissal will do him in great stead.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good innings, 57 from 49. He set the tone. But if they want to look any further, and 49 deliveries, 4 fours, 4 sixes, so he was aggressive. And that's exactly what was good about Ambati Raidu's innings. And I know we saw a lot of aggression in the IPL from him, but we hadn't quite seen that in the early matches in this tournament. So that was nice to see. If they want an example, though, 200s for Shikhar Dhawan and 100 for Rohit Sharma. That's what openers do. Openers don't get 50s and 60s to win you games. Hundreds and good hundreds win you one-day international games. 50s and 60s and getting out in reckless fashion don't win you games. And that's proven today. So they've got great examples sitting in the changing room of how it should be and what you need to do to be an international quality opening batsman. And to me, that's just something that they both missed. But Raidu, you're right, he'll slip back down to 3. Good for him. What it will do is it will continue to put pressure on that middle order. It'll continue to be talked about. I bet the press conference will be asked. You know, they'll be asked about what happened. MS Dhoni will be asked about it. The batting coach will be asked about it. What's going on? Okay, how much depth have you got in your bowling? Not much. In your seam bowling department. Those questions will be asked as well. So, you know, the little things that I don't think they'll throw doubt, because you bring Bhuvi and Bumrah straight back in and Chahal, and you go back to the number one side that Zach talked about at the halfway time, and India will be fine. They won't lack confidence, because the 5 players that come back in are all full of confidence. So there won't be any issues with that, I don't think.
Yeah, MS Dhoni after the game has said that he didn't think anything went wrong with the chase, but yes, he agreed that someone should have gone on and taken up the reins over there. Also, he felt that the wicket slowed up a little bit, but then I think it was expected.
I think Simon had made a great point. Like, you know, opening batsman, the top 3 batsmen, is all about getting in and making those big runs. I think, you know, that intent was lacking, and it didn't happen. Why it didn't happen? Because the batting was approached in the dominating fashion, which was working. It's fine, but at some stage you have to change the gear. You can't drive a car in just one gear. You know, at times you have to slow down, assess. If the wicket had slowed down, those batters batting in the middle could have sensed that. Then you have to change the gear at that stage and wait for your scoring areas. You know, and you've seen it with Dinesh Karthik. He was waiting for those short pitch deliveries. He was waiting for that room outside off stump to play his shot. He picked his 2 areas. These are my areas of scoring runs. If it's really full, you are going to use that sweep shot as well. So as a batsman, that is important, and probably that's the lesson which MS also was trying to convey to all the batters today.
And Righto, Mr. Questionnaire. How many tied one-day internationals for India over history? How many tied now? How many does that make?
There must be 4
or 5.
West Indies, I remember. World Cup, I remember, against England in 2011.
Okay.
There is one.
New Zealand.
3.
Jadeja in New Zealand, Eden Park. Remember that one? 2014. Jadeja hit a boundary to tie the match over mid-wicket.
Okay,
Make use of the Cricbuzz app.
I have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. West Indies against Perth, 1991. In Perth, sorry. Versus Zimbabwe in Indore, 1993. Zimbabwe at Pal in 1997. Versus England in Bengaluru in 2011. England at Lords in 2011. So 2 ties.
Come on,
in the
turn
same
it around.
year. Here it is.
Let
Look, it's all here.
There you go.
It's all
That's
here.
it.
Beautiful stuff. Sri Lanka at Adelaide. New Zealand at Auckland. And today, Afghanistan.
So it's 7.
Dubai. Yep, 7. Just here. 7 or 8, is it? And MS Dhoni, 5 as captain. 5 ties
as captain.
Unbelievable. Richie Richardson with 3, Steve Waugh and Sean Pollock with 3 as well. So there you go. Go to the Cricbuzz app. Anything you like, it's all here. It'll tell you everything you need to know.
195 results, 5 ties. Well done, MSD.
Yeah, well done,
200
MSD.
ODIs as captain, and you'll always remember his 200th ODI was a tie.
That's
Never
8.
forget that.
Sorry,
one.
it's 8 ties in total for India and one-day internationals. So there you go. All you need on the app.
Spot on. Just to finish off on the lessons taken out here, we talked a lot about the bowling after India's bowling effort finished, but just overall now looking at the end with the result happening, we talked about changing gears. The bowling with Bhuvi and Bumrah back will look as if it's in sort of automatic transmission, and things will settle back to normal, and Chahal added to the mix.
Yeah, I think so. And also with the surface, you can see after 9 days of cricket, 10 days of cricket, it's starting to slow up a little bit more. So I'd imagine even a newish pitch on Friday afternoon, Friday night will be slow and turn more as well. So 3 spinners, Chahal coming back in, Jadeja bowling really well, Kuldeep, so I don't think there'll be any issues as far as that spin trio is concerned. And of course, don't forget Kedar Jadhav.
Question for you. Since MS Dhoni, as stand-in captain today, admitted he wanted to field first in a final, we've seen what happened in the Champions Trophy. Are you an advocate for win the toss, bat first, runs on the board, especially what we've seen here? India have, as it happens, they've chased every single time. What do they do in the final?
I think
if they win the toss?
thing which I want to know is, was it the second match played on the same kind of surface? And if the surface is new for the finals, if it's a fresh wicket, then I think bowl first is going to be the option which India will go for, because that's what their plan has been. And Rohit also has been mentioning that in the toss that the wicket played better. So if it's a fresh wicket, it's certainly going to play better in the under lights. And today's wicket was more on the slow side, because I think the pitch had been used for a match or two before.
Well, the big question is going to be, we still don't know who India's opponents are going to be in the final. Will it be the marquee India v Pakistan clash, or will it be the neighbours from the east? Will Bangladesh squeeze through? On the evidence of what's happened in the tournament so far, neither Bangladesh nor Pakistan have taken the tournament by the horns. So it's going to be a pretty even contest in that sense. Nobody's really shown their cards yet. And that points table shows that it's going to be a semi-final, in a sense, between Pakistan and Bangladesh to determine India's opponents. Gentlemen, how do you see that game going?
Sorry.
I know Pakistan are unpredictable. Bangladesh actually have been more predictable this time, predictably disappointing.
They have been. I'll answer that question. I was just reading MS Dhoni's comments. A couple of run-outs and a few things we can't talk about unless you want to get fined. Love that. That's brilliant. He's a bit more relaxed now. He's just having the captaincy for one game, perhaps. How do we see this game going tomorrow? Pakistan should be too good. Bangladesh have been pretty disappointing, I think, throughout this tournament. One or two performances, obviously, Mushfiq's big 100 early on in the tournament, but for the most part, they have been disappointing. So Pakistan should be too good. If they get their bowling right, I think, again, it's been Shoaib Malik that's finished games for them and won games for them on two occasions through this tournament. So they haven't had a lot from the top. From Imam's got a 50. Fakhar Zaman, it just hasn't been at his belligerent best. So if they show up, they will be too good, I think, for Bangladesh tomorrow.
And we didn't mention Mohammad Amir, so perhaps that could be one expected change from Pakistan's point of view.
I think they have shown faith in Amir. So they might continue with the faith which they've shown so far, because they've been looking at him as match winner, and they are believing in the rhythm which he'll be hitting any time. So far, it has not happened. So I wouldn't be surprised if Usman replaces him. The balance in the attack has been looking better. So that's something which is good news for Pakistan. Shaheen Afridi has been pick of the bowler. I think he's been a bit unlucky, but has shown a lot of promise. Fakhar Zaman showed signs of form in the last innings. He should have gone for that review. He did not have
he wasn't
asked.
Sure.
But I think the top three are going to determine. And between Bangladesh and Pakistan, so far in the tournament, Pakistan had looked a better side than Bangladesh. Bangladesh's batting has not been firing at all. They've looked lost of sorts in the tournament so far. So if Bangladesh reaches final, it will be in a way very one-sided final for India. But I think if Pakistan reaches, then we all know the importance of India-Pakistan game. So when it's India-Pakistan, it's going to be a lot of excitement and a lot of eyeballs watching that finals.
And not for the first time, India v Pakistan in the United Arab Emirates on a Friday. It's going to be a big clash.
Yeah,
it's going to be happy.
Yeah,
let's quick look at Bangladesh before we wrap up. This is what they have to choose from. They've had the unfortunate loss of Tamim Iqbal with that injury, and that was certainly a big blow to them. This is the last 11 that played against Afghanistan.
Imran Kai's batted down the order, didn't he? Came in at 7, I think, didn't he, in the last match, and played really well and batted very, very well. So I wonder whether they'll stick with that same mantra with this game. I don't see changes in this side. I think they'll stick with that team that had success. They just don't look as strong. Mashrafi Mortaza is struggling a little bit with that new ball. he hasn't quite got the pace. Mustafi Zur is not as good as he was when he first burst onto the scene, so he needs to find something. And their spin options are just not quite as good. I mean, Afghanistan have got a better spin options than Bangladesh. So I just think that, as I say, Pakistan are 70-30, if not 75-25 for mine at this point.
Yeah, perhaps a bit more fizz from the fizz and maybe a change in the batting order. Could Imrul Kais now have justified enough faith in Mashrafi Mortaza to say, all right, go on and open the batting. You're not going to bat one place above me. Well, all will be revealed tomorrow. But for the moment, we have something to reveal on Cricbuzz Live. It's the joy factor. One quick reminder of the question before we give you the answer. And of course, today's winner. What connects Mohinder Ramanath? And I think for a lot of people, that should have been the key giveaway. Virendra Sehwag before 2003 and Shubman Gill, especially during the Under-19 Cricket World Cup. And the answer was, yes, it's a superstition. All of them had a superstition of carrying red handkerchiefs. Sehwag stopped carrying it after Sachin told him not to believe too much in superstitions. I'm not sure he listened to everything. Famously, when he told him not to get to a 300 with a 6, that's exactly what he did. Sachin said that to him from the non-striker's end. But there are some things he listens to. So who's the winner going to be? Who knows all about red handkerchiefs? A lot of you did that. Many, many answers. But today's winner is Santosh. J. Santosh with a Z, number 31. Now, once again, we have to wonder what the number comes from. Why a Z instead of the S?
Born on the 31st.
Born on the 31st.
Perhaps.
Definitely not
And
1931.
Santosh was taken, so he had to put a Z on it. What colour was Steve Waugh's?
Also red.
It was red as well, wasn't it?
It was red as well?
Always.
If you had given that clue, then the answer would have been very simple.
I know.
Yes.
It was red. I'm just trying to think. Do I have a red hanky? Almost.
Oh,
It's
not
kind of
quite.
reddish,
White, red and white.
Yeah, red and white. Red and white.
Yeah, I thought Steve Waugh always carried a red one as well.
Yeah.
He did. And during his farewell test match in Sydney, there was, everybody had replica red handkerchiefs out there.
Lovely.
It was brilliant. Lovely gesture from everyone. But
Very
yeah,
nice.
that's it. Congratulations to our winner there. And thank you, gentlemen. It's been a long day. It's finished honours even for both teams, and I think sets it up beautifully for a semi-final and then a big final on the Friday. Thank you to Zaheer Khan.
Thank
to
you.
Simon Doull.
Thank you.
To the two big fast bowlers in the studios. Thank you all for watching. Cricbuzz Live will be back as we've got two very decisive matches coming up on the Wednesday and then the big Friday clash. Will it be India versus Pakistan? We'll have to wait for tomorrow first. Until then, thanks for watching.